would have done it already. He sees her tracks on the ground, and he's like, oh, good, she's still alive. But if you're following her, that doesn't really mean she's still alive.
He did also, think to himself, without Samuel, he never would have fucking made it into Agaden Reach. Which just made me think him and Kahlan would never have made it anyway, so this is kind of like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, kinda. I think they probably would have made it, just they would have taken the really, really fucking long way around, and they didn't have time to waste like that.
Silver linings.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You hate to admit it, but yeah, that's kind of what it is.
Richard asks Sam why Shota keeps him around, and Sam's like, I'm a companion, which is creepy. But also that Mistress isn't afraid of the Seeker, and that's why she's not going to care that he's leading Richard down into her lair.
Yeah, and I mean, this lair's not a fucking place you want to be. He remembers Kahlan saying that they're going to die, and he's trying to not think about that. But of course, going into this place, that's all you're going to be thinking about.
He is hoping that everything that Kahlan's heard has been exaggerated, because she's never actually seen any of this shit with her own eyes. She's just repeating hearsay.
Right, it's not firsthand knowledge. This is just shit she's heard, and shit you've just heard from somebody else who heard it from the other guy who heard it from the dude on the corner. Tends to be exaggerated.
Yeah, like a lot.
So, right, like a lot. So he's just kind of crossing his fingers like maybe it's not so bad. Maybe she just, doesn't shower regularly and she's a little weird looking. So people called her a witch and it's no big deal.
Maybe they just didn't want to walk down the mountain range. It's a little bit hard on the legs.
Yeah.
Well, sunlight's coming from ahead and it becomes brighter as they go because it was all dark and gross inside the forest for a little while and cold. They end up coming out into a bright green valley surrounded by the tall peaks, and there's waterfalls, and it's serene and beautiful. And Samuel pointed and said that Mistress was down in the center of this little valley. And Richard, again, is like, I never would have figured this shit out if it wasn't for this little dude.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was a whole nother ecosystem once you got through this little pass.
Right. They went from super cold to hot and warm and cool.
But it was weird because they're going through mountains.
Yeah.
So that implies that they're way up high.
Yeah.
So it should not be like that there.
No, she's doing some magic shit. And she's got a giant castle in there with spires and bridges. It's like the Disney castle. It's pretty awesome.
That nobody knows about, apparently.
Nobody ever gets to see it, but it's spectacular. In the center of this cathedral of trees, there's a rock with a spring coming out of it, and a woman with soft brown hair is turned away from him. Sam says, that's Mistress. And then he pointed over on the other side and said, that's pretty lady over there.
Yeah, Kahlan is standing to the other side of this, what I imagine to be a clearing of some kind. And Richard's like, something looks funny about her. Oh, wait, there's something on her. But I think if you were close enough to see her, you could probably see if she was covered in snakes, unless they are a long ways off. How do you think to yourself, oh, that person's back looks familiar from that distance, so you must be close enough to Kahlan to see the snakes?
Yeah, I think he just wasn't paying attention at first. He just noticed she was there. I was like, oh, yeah, she's alive. I didn't even give a shit about the snakes for a minute or two.
Narrating as he's noticing things like, oh, good, there's Kahlan. Oh, good, she's not dead. Hold on a second. What is that?
Well, yeah, and Sam's like, Seeker promises, all creepy ass, interrupting his thought process anyways.
Yeah, you're not going to cook me, right?
I would still not take the rope off, though. I would wait.
No, I mean, this is going to sound awful, but I know you promised the little guy, but now that you're here, be like, hey, release my partner and I'll release your partner and then let's sit down here and talk, okay?
Yeah.
Because if you kill her, I'm definitely killing him.
Yeah, plus Samuel's like a little shitbag, so.
Right, so sword's going to go right through him, guarantee it.
Richard walked over to Kahlan. He notices the snakes, finally, and he tells her he's going to get him off of her, and she's like, no, they're going to bite if you even try. I'm dead. Just get out of here. Run away. Super dramatic, which, I mean, I guess I don't blame her, because panic.
It's looking pretty bleak for her right now.
Yeah.
She's also not a fan of snakes, so...
I don't hate snakes, and I feel like I would be super uncomfortable in this situation, too, so...
I feel like if you found yourself in a pile of snakes, yeah, that would be a good reason to panic.
They're like going through her hair, going down her shirt, and popping their little faces out through her buttons.
That one snake that was looking at Richard after popping in between her buttons must have been like, I'm on you, girl. Awkward as hell. But Richard said that he was not going to leave her. And I mean, we all know how that turned out for Jack on the Titanic. But she begged him to run while he could. And Richard's like, fuck off. I'm the hero. I'm here to do hero shit. I'm not going to run.
Well, plus he points out, hey, technically, I didn't even come here for you. Like, we came here for the box.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I gotta find out the box regardless.
Kaylin, I have to level with you. We've been hanging out for a little while now, and I like you a lot. I do. That night in the spirit house was pretty fucking awesome, and I regularly eat apples now.
And I totally can envision you naked now because I saw you with all the mud on you, and that's pretty cool. Yeah.
We did body paint. We've had a lot of fun. But as far as the mission goes, you're like a close second. And there is something that I have to do, even if that means not getting you out of here. Now, he's still promising her, I'm going to get you out of here. It'll be fine. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's here for Shota for information, not to save Kaylin.
His final point isn't like, I'm not leaving until I get you out of here. His final point is like, bitch, you better stay still, because I'm getting the box either way. He ends up striding over to the woman, who's still calmly sitting by the water, and he can't contain his rage. He decides not to pull a sword because he feels like maybe that's a bad idea.
Well, I think that's your showing your intention of a threat. We talked about this before. If you have a gun, you can like point it at the ground and like, okay, I'm being cautious, but I'm not pointing this at you. With a sword, there's no way for you to like show anybody that, and it's immediately perceived as a threat, which it is.
I would be palming a knife or something, though.
Fucking A. Oh, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't get close to this person. If it is a real witch, stay back a little bit and be like, excuse me.
Hey, bitch.
Can we talk?
Well, she ends up turning around and saying his name in a voice he recognizes. And his heart, like, flies in his throat. And then the fucking chapter ends.
And that's it.
So, that's cool.
Yeah, that is an abrupt ending.
Yes.
And this one is pretty jarring.
Yeah. Because he's trying to get you to read the next chapter, and we can't. Terry, we're only doing one chapter an episode. So, you just can't pull that shit at us, okay? So for the next chapter, I would appreciate it if there's no cliffhanger.
Right. Well, and we ended the last chapter so well. No, it didn't. Because Dark and Raw murdered a whole bunch of people. So never mind. Just cut all of this out. I'm sorry.
Abrupt endings.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys think abrupt endings are bullshit, you should drop us a line at podcastatt@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter at podcastatt, and you can find us on Patreon at podcastatt as well. There's tons of goodies over there. Like, go check it out. It's super awesome, and we would super appreciate it.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff up there, guaranteed to make you laugh, so we hope to see you there soon. Thank you guys for listening again this week, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye.